Shady, your Eagles, they took an L. No reaction? No response?
We lost a game.
The Eagles took an L.
We lost it. Yeah, I mean.
Jalen Hurts had by his standards, an abysmal performance.
Bad game.
Bad game. Bad game. Yeah. I did not want to withhold this conversation from the viewers, so here we are on YouTube to hear your thoughts, to get your reaction. Well, first and foremost, what's your reaction to Hurts' performance?
Well, first of all, before I even give you my reaction, I just want to ask you one question.
Yes, sir.
Did you think the Eagles would go undefeated this year?
No, sir.
Did you think that?
I did not.
Did you think that? No. Me either. I didn't think that. I thought we'd be one of the best teams in the National Football League, which we are. I think that we'll win our division, which I think we will.
Sure.
And I think we'll compete to go to a Super Bowl, which
cool.
we will.
Of course.
So, listen, Jalen Hurts, he played bad. Had a bad game. 3 turnovers or 3 picks, that's a career high for him.
Now, you've described games like this differently for other quarterbacks. You haven't used the words like bad. You've used other words, other type of vernacular, different type of words.
That is true.
Get him, Acho.
I'm just wondering why now it's bad. Used another 3-letter word previously, but now we're just using bad.
Well,
just clarify that.
And I will for you. This is a great question.
Thank you, sir.
The thing is, in this league, you get judged on how you play, how you keep playing, how you keep playing.
Yes, sir.
If you have a bad game, I've been there. I've done that.
Of course.
You had a bad game?
Of course, many of them.
Okay, so I understand that. So, yes, Jalen Hurts, did he play well? No, he did not. Yeah. He didn't do well. He didn't play enough to win. He played bad. He lost us the game. Let's just go further and say that. Okay. Yes. Now, one thing about Jalen Hurts is he's shown all of us, he always gets better. He always improves. You think he's not in his house or in the locker room thinking about how can he make this thing better? See, he got heart. Some people I talk about, I don't know if they have that heart.
Sure. Where
his teammates can believe on him. Okay, Jalen didn't play well. I know for sure next game he will. There's certain players that play bad. Yeah, when the game get tight, he gonna do that again. That's not the thing in Philadelphia.
But isn't that what happened last night? Because the game got tight. Eagles took an early lead, obviously. We were all watching the game. Eagles go up. Jalen Hurts in the offense. They scored 2 touchdowns, I believe, in their first 4 possessions. But then the second half.
Play bad.
Interception, interception, fumble, I think punt, and it was just atrocious.
Bad game.
Terrible game. Terrible. I think bad is a little kind. It was a terrible game.
Trash. Trash game. Say trash game.
That is fair.
You know what's funny about Jalen Hurts, though? In his last 24 games, you know how many games he's lost?
Not a lot.
2.
Not a lot.
So I'm cool with taking that.
Fair.
I'm gonna take. Let me get the numbers. I'm a lot of the people.
Please do.
I'm gonna take the 280 passing yards, the 45 rushing yards, the 2 touchdowns, and I'm gonna take the 3 picks. I'm gonna take that because I know next week and going farther, we won't get nothing like that because he's 22-2. Ooh, that's 22-2. So I'll take that loss, Joy. I'll take that loss.
No, and to your credit, Shady, you did a lot of defending of Josh Allen, who had a worse game than Jalen Hurts to start the season because he had 3 picks and a fumble.
Yep, 4 turnovers.
Bad game. Lost to the same team that Jalen Hurts lost to. And Shady's story was the same. He said, I'll take this bad game because I know what Josh Allen can do on the other end.
That's right.
And that's how I feel about Jalen Hurts. Yes, it was a terrible game by Jalen Hurts. I think he would say it's a terrible game.
Of course.
It's inarguable. It's his worst game. 3 interceptions. You can't win like that. And they weren't just, they were bad interceptions. He gave the game away. He gave the game away. And you can't blame that on the defense. You just cannot. They held him to 12 points. That interception is why that score is what it is, that final interception. So you can't blame that on the Eagles defense who, you could argue and look at that game and not follow it and say, oh, the defense, how do you lose to the Jets? No, defense did their job. Defense did their job. Jalen Hurts didn't. But because Jalen Hurts has shown the ability, one, to get better and improve, he also, we now know what his floor is. You argue this with lots of players. We know what the floor is. We know what the ceiling is. Well, the ceiling for Jalen Hurts is all-pro. Playing in a Super Bowl, hard to do. Playing in a Super Bowl.
And balled out.
Runner-up to league MVP, which is the best player in the league, or at least the best quarterback in the league, depending on how you look at that award. That's his ceiling. So I'll take this floor.
Here's my thought, though, James Jones. You said this, and people in your seat have said this prior, is, won't the real Jalen Hurts please stand up?
Ooh. That's my...
Now.
I think it's Shady.
It's not Shady. It was Slim Shady or Shady McCoy, but one Shady said it.
Carry on, my bad. Carry on.
After Aaron Rodgers had one bad season, we don't say Aaron Rodgers is awful. No. We don't. People tried to say after Tom Brady had a mediocre season, he had fallen off a cliff. We don't do that. So in the same breath, we can't necessarily, after Jalen Hurts has one elite season, say that Jalen Hurts is amazing. No. We have to wait to gather more information. Yeah. We did not proclaim Josh Allen to be an elite quarterback until we saw 2 consecutive years runner-up for NFL MVP. Yeah. So with Jalen Hurts, the sample size, we must admit, is still a 1 season of greatness sample size. Yeah. Rookie year, he goes in for Carson Wentz, he goes 1-3. Sophomore year, he goes 9-7, plays the Buccaneers in the playoffs, gets blasted, loses that game. Next year, all-pro, hard to do, goes to the Super Bowl. Now this year, it's been very mediocre. Yeah. I mean, very mediocre. Yeah. Elite level of mediocrity. Yeah. 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's thrown 2 multiple interception games. Last year, he had 1 multiple interception game, and that was the game he hurt his shoulder against the Chicago Bears, and the weather wasn't good. This Jalen Hurts all season has not been elite. Yeah. He hasn't been all-pro. It ain't been hard to do. It hasn't been great. What's your reaction?
JJ, get him. No, I agree with you guys. I do. Jalen Hurts has played 44 games, and this is the 2nd game in 44 that he's thrown 3 interceptions, right? You're talking about one of the great young leaders in the National Football League that gets his team to rally behind him. I believe what Jalen Hurts' strongest quality is how consistent he is. He's not going to blow the stat sheet up with 300 yards passing, 5 to that might not be what Jalen Hurts is going to do. But Jalen Hurts is a consistent quarterback. So I don't see this happening too many times. And another thing is kind of like Shady always talks about how Coach Mike is doing Dak. Well, this season they have come out with Jalen Hurts, and they have really let him do a whole lot more. Yeah, they're really opening the playbook and saying, look, if the ball is in your hands, let's do a whole lot more. You know, give you some of these shot plays, let you throw this ball over the yard. Let's try not to use your legs so much and let you throw the football. And he's making a couple mistakes. Now, they've been getting away with it with winning, right? Me and you talked up here plenty of times, like they're not playing the way the Eagles should be playing, but they're still squeaking out wins. It caught them, right? And the main person that did not play well was Jalen Hurts, right? He's probably not going to play well again in another game this season. Who knows what game that'll be. But I do know Jalen Hurts is a consistent quarterback. I'm not worried about this. And another reason why I'm not worried about it is because if we're going to say Jalen Hurts is sorry just after this week, we got to say Patty Mahomes is sorry because the Jets dominated him. If it wasn't for a controversial penalty on Sauce, it would have been 3 picks for him, too. We've seen Josh Allen the very first week of the season throw 3 interceptions to this Jets defense. So that means we got to say we worried about Josh and Josh sorry, too. The Jets' defense is big time, and I think that's who we need to start giving some credit to.
But remember, Dak Prescott against the Jets defense did not struggle. I'm just having to read the objective facts, because if I'm a Cowboys fan watching this, the Jets defense was great. I know Cowboys fans. I can hear the echo of Dave Helmy
I got something for Cowboys fans if they have questions.
Not even a question. That would be the retort.
Here's the retort. I'll answer the retort. I'll answer the retort. What NFC Championship game has Dak Prescott played in, Shady? None. None. Zero. Did he play in a Super Bowl?
No, not that I know of.
No, he did not. Did he play in an AFC Championship game? No, he did not do that. Did he win a Super Bowl?
No.
No, he did not do that. Was he ever runner-up for MVP?
No.
Did he not do that? Has he ever been All-Pro?
No.
He got a vote. Has he ever been runner-up for MVP? Runner-up. Runner-up. Not a vote, not like a person thought that. Runner-up for MVP. All-Pro. Okay, so Josh Allen has played in an AFC Championship game.
Sure.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes has won a Super Bowl, multiple Super Bowls, played in 3 of them, and won multiple league MVPs. Jalen Hurts has been an All-Pro, played an NFC Championship game, and won that, and played in a Super Bowl. So if you want to talk about resumes, if you want to talk about why somebody isn't worried about Jalen Hurts throwing 3 interceptions, but you might be more worried about somebody who hasn't done any of those things, that's why. Because the consistency of that and the accomplishments, if you can overcome that the way that Josh Allen does, if you can win championships the way that Patrick Mahomes does, if you can play in AFC championship games, win NFC championship games, for me, you get the grace of a bad game like that. We've seen Dak Prescott turn the ball over consistently, and we made excuses for it, and then it ended up costing them their season. So if you're wondering why, if he doesn't get that same energy, which I'm not going to give Jalen Hurts the same energy that I would give Dak Prescott in this situation, it's because what have you done to overcome that? What is your ceiling? If your ceiling is a divisional round, then yeah, you probably get more smoke for mistakes because you haven't been able to overcome them.
Let's talk about the why, because that's a brilliant what. We know that Jalen Hurts played a bad game, but here is why there might be a reason for concern, is because the Eagles' offensive line maligned. Lane Johnson, he went out, right tackle. Cam Jurgens, he went on IR the day before the game with I think a right foot injury, if I'm not mistaken. So he's out for the next 4 weeks. Shady, many people said last year, Micah Parsons amongst others, amongst everybody nationally, the Eagles' offense is incredibly talented. Yeah. It would be hard to struggle with that offense. Yeah. Even when the Eagles lost with lowly Gardner Minshew, he still threw for 300 yards. Okay. So, like, with that offense, many people have suggested it would be hard to struggle. Problem, Lane Johnson hasn't given up a sack in over 3 years, 2 years, I believe. He's hurt. Hopefully he comes back this week. Cam Jurgens, he's hurt. Jalen Hurts, for the first time, at least in 24 games, might have to legitimately carry a load that we've seen Patrick Mahomes carry, that we've seen Joe Burrow carry, that you self-admittedly have seen Josh Allen carry, but we haven't seen Jalen Hurts carry. Does that give you any cause for concern?
No, I've seen enough of Jalen Hurts to know what type of quarterback he is, what type of leader he is, if he can carry an offense or if he can't. And I think he can. See, the reason why this is not a big thing to me, for one, it's very rare that he has 3 picks.
That's incredibly rare.
Right? But another thing is, like, when a guy like Josh Allen goes out there and has 4 turnovers, or Patrick Mahomes has 2 or possibly 3 picks, Joe Burrow having 82 yards, why we never panic? Because we know they're ceiling. We know what at their best what they can be. Why it's just not the same energy for Dak Prescott is because, like, we know where his ceiling's at. We know what he can be. And I look at a guy like Jalen Hurts. You talked about the Super Bowl. He's still a young quarterback, still trying to figure it out. And he has a new offensive coordinator. That's another thing I was telling Colin today is about when you have a new coordinator, he's trying to fill everything out. This is his first year calling plays. Okay, Jalen likes this, he likes that. There's so many different things they're trying to figure out. So I just think that knowing Jalen as a player and a leader and knowing his ceiling, I look at him the same way I look at them other guys as like I said about Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Maybe not the same talent, but the same eyes as a leader and what they can accomplish. Where other quarterbacks that have these type of turnovers, if they can't accomplish things that he can, you got to look at them differently. That's why I'm not tripping about these picks.
Yeah, for me, I would be lying if I was to say that I wasn't watching the TV like, ooh, shady.
I feel like everybody was doing that.
But at the end of the day, I was watching the game, and I'm like, that ain't Jalen. You know, like, Jalen has shown us that I take care of the football. I mean, last year he had 6 interceptions the whole season. You know, this year, he's been doing a bad job taking care of the football, right? I truly believe it's because they are opening up this playbook and he is taking some shots that he did not take last year, right? And then, like I said, the Jets defense made a lot of quarterbacks look average, right? Dak Prescott was at home against the Jets. Patty was on the road. Josh was on the road. Jalen was on the road. It's different when you go on the road and you play. And we all know how I feel about Dak, right? I go to bat for Dak with Shady 24/7. But all Jalen, since he has really took over the starting role, has showed us that he's a consistent quarterback. And I think when you show that you're a consistent quarterback, like the Aaron Rodgers, like the Joe Burrows, like the Patty Mahomes, when you have a game like this, I think the first thing you always think about is he going to bounce back next week. Now, if he string some of these games along, you're like, oh, wait, is this the real Jalen Hurts showing up? Like, is this the Jalen Hurts that we are going to get accustomed of seeing, especially if some of his offensive linemen is not there? You know, that's still to be seen. You know, but I will say this season, if I had to give any advice to Jalen Hurts is, I don't care what you do, you got to take care of the ball. You have a big-time defense, right? You have to take care of the football. 6 all last year, 7 this year in 6 weeks. That's not taking care of the football, and that's a trend. That's starting to become consistent, right? 2 interceptions in last week's game, 3 interceptions in this. That's starting to become consistent. You got to find ways to take care of the football. And like I said earlier, the type of dude he is and the competitor he is and what he's been over his career, he's been consistent. So that's why I'm kind of giving him that pass.
But can we get a Jets some credit, though? Because they made Patrick Mahomes struggle.
Yep, 2 picks.
And Josh Allen, I mean, every time he played him, it seemed like he's struggling. So we got to give him some credit.
Jets defense has been,
I
said yesterday, like, Jets defense is finally becoming that elite defense that I thought they were capable of being. Pat Mahomes, 2 picks, Josh Allen, 3 picks, Jalen Hurts, 3 picks. It's only Russell Wilson and Dak who I think had interceptionless games, and even Russell Wilson. Jets, into the game, win the game. Joy, I'll close my thought, let you respond to it before you take us home with this. Jalen Hurts' best attribute is his security.
Exactly.
That's his best attribute. It's like if you were to engage with somebody because of their physical appearance, if they start to put on weight, all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, I'm not with you for your personality. I'm with you because you look good. So I need you to keep looking good. It's like Jalen Hurts. We're not with you because you throw for 5,000 yards.
Exactly.
I doubt he'll do that in his career. That's not the type of player he is. I'm not with you because you're going to have 5,500 total yards. That's a Josh Allen thing. That's not the type of player you are. I'm not with you because you're going to throw for over 40 touchdowns. That's a Patrick Mahomes thing. It's not the type of player you are. But who you are is safe with the ball.
No question.
When Jalen Joy is no longer safe with the ball, I'm thinking to myself, his greatest superpower is now becoming a weakness. That is why I am concerned. Not because he's not still Jalen Hurts, but like, wait, I got with you because you look good, but you don't look good. So now there's a dilemma. That's how I'm feeling. What's your closing thought?
I would argue that Jalen Hurts' best attribute is that he wins games. And they're 5-1. So I think he still looks good from that perspective. He looked bad last night. He had a moment, and it happens yesterday. He had a moment. But to me, that's his best attribute. Security and taking care of the ball, winning games, like that all kind of goes together. No one's arguing that it's okay to turn the ball over. Jalen Hurts lost that game for them yesterday. Philadelphia's defense did their job.
No question.
He turned the ball over in the biggest moment and lost them the game.
Right.
Now you can go through and pick parts of the game. That's what it came down to. If he doesn't throw that interception, they likely win that game.
No doubt.
But that's a moment. They're 5-1. His best attribute to me is winning. He wins games. And despite how he's looked this year, they're 5-1. They're at the top of the division. And they're right there in the same record with a bunch of other good teams in the league.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
time for the best record in football.
All right.
So to me,
no more, no less.
you know what I mean? Maybe he gained like a pound or two. The cheeks looking a little chubby, but, you know, it's cute. It was like sexy, now it's cute. So we just got to, you know, get on the treadmill a little bit. You're going to be right back to it. Snatch back. But that to me is his greatest attribute.
What's the goal for the Philadelphia Eagles this season?
Championship?
Championship.
No. I'm sorry. Win our division.
Win the division.
That's first. That's the first thing.
That's the first thing. You just came from a Super Bowl, so the goal as you walked in here in training camp was we have the team to win a championship.
No doubt.
Point blank, period.
No doubt.
If Jalen Hurts continues to play like this these last 3 weeks, there is no championship. There is no championship. He might win some games, he might get to the playoffs, and they might win a couple games in there, but they're not going to win a championship. So with that being said, he has to play better, which I think he will, but Jalen Hurts has to get back to Jalen Hurts.
No doubt about it.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.